Good evening. Welcome to the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce, Clear Creek ISD Board of Trustees Candidates Forum. My name is Peter Winchell. I'm the Executive Director of Communities and Schools Bay Area and Chair of the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce Education Division. The mission of the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce is to be champions for business success and quality of life in our community. One way the Chamber fulfills this mission is by supporting public education and Clear Creek ISD. A successful school district is vital to the quality of life in a community. It also supports economic success by ensuring a highly educated workforce. Hosting the Candidates Forum every year serves as a tool to inform the business community and area residents about the people who wish to lead our excellent school district. With respect to the candidates and to avoid interruption, we ask the audience to turn off your cell phones, refrain from recording the forum, taking pictures during the forum, or making any distracting noises. Thank you. Tonight's forum is being broadcast on I-45 Now. Thank you, TJ Auld and your team for your expertise and community support. Now let's begin with prayer. Blessed are you, Lord, divine source of all wisdom and truth. Tonight we hear from 4 candidates for the Clear Creek ISD Board of Trustees. These individuals have been called to educational leadership in our community. Lord, open our ears this evening to hear the message of our speakers and call us to action and give us the courage and grace to do your will in response to what happens this evening. Lord, divine teacher, help us to recognize you tonight in the message we hear, in the conversations we share, and in our lives shared in common. And may the blessing of God, his peace and love, rest upon our forum, our presenters, and all those in attendance tonight. Now you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to our 2 flags. American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. You may be seated. We have several special guests with us this evening that I'd like to introduce very briefly. First, I'd like to introduce to you the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce Board, Jacob Bigger. Chamber President and CEO, Cindy DeWeese. Chamber Vice President, Sherry Sweeney. I don't believe our Government Affairs Division Chair isn't here. She's out of town. Our timekeeper tonight, Cindy DeWeese, and I will monitor the time. As a group, I'd like the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors to please stand. If you're on the Board of Directors, please stand. And we also have with us some Clear Creek Independent School District Board of Trustees. Would you please stand? All right. And do we have any elected officials here? Okay. Okay, yes. McCall. Thank you. Okay, now I'd like to introduce our candidates. Running for position District 1, on your far left is Jessica Cheka, the incumbent. Next to her is Joe McCall. Next to him, for the at-large position B, Scott Bowen, who is the incumbent. And next to him is Rebecca Lilly. Now it is my pleasure to introduce to you our moderator, Dr. Glenn Friedman, who will review the format and start the candidate forum. Dr. Friedman?
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and again, thank you for coming out this evening. It's an absolutely gorgeous evening, and we're looking forward to all of the candidates' responses to the questions that we've prepared for the evening. We have 4 goals for this forum: to introduce the candidates to the community, to provide an open forum for voter information about the candidates, to allow the candidates to express their knowledge about public education and their role on a school board, and to learn their views on issues that affect CCISD, our community, and most importantly, our children. All the questions have been developed and reviewed by the Chamber's Candidate Forum Committee. They've been framed to elicit responses reflecting how each person would act as a board member or about the issues that board members would be expected to know about. Candidates have seen the script for the proceedings in advance, but they haven't seen any of the questions. For background information about all of the candidates, we encourage you to read about them, and Clear Creek ISD has made that information available on the website ccisd.net/elections. Now to the format. Please note that all the questions will be displayed on the screens behind the candidates. They also have monitors in front of them so they can see the questions. Again, a reminder to silence your cell phones and refrain from talking as we're live streaming, and perhaps hundreds of millions of viewers at home will want to hear the candidates as well as you. Now, to keep things moving and to hold everyone's interest, here's how we'll conduct the forum. First, we'll have 1-minute introductory comments from each. Second, we'll have CCISD issues over the next 3 years, and they'll be asked questions about critical issues that will be facing the board during their term in office. There'll be 2 rounds and 60-second responses. Third, we have the lightning round. Each candidate in turn will pick a number from 1 to 20. I'll read the question corresponding to that number, and the responses will be limited to 30 seconds. Then we'll have point-counterpoint, in which 10 categories will be shown. Candidate will be asked to pick one of those categories. He or she will respond up to a minute, and then their opponent will have 30 seconds to respond to whatever the person said. Then another lightning round, 30 seconds per question, and finally the closing comments. So there's a lot to do in a short period of time. The timekeepers sitting here in the front will be waving flags to assist the candidates. Now, Cindy DeWeese's high point of every year is the flag waving. So I'd like you to pay particular attention to the flags in addition to the candidates. A green flag means there's 30 seconds left. A yellow flag means 10 seconds left. And a red flag means time has expired, and if time expires, you will hear the dreaded bell. I'm sorry that we won't be able to take questions or comments from the audience. However, we do encourage you to speak with the candidates after the forum and ask them the questions that may be on your mind. With that, let's get started. We'll start with the introductory comments, 60-second opening comments by each candidate, and we'll start with Mrs. Chaka.
Thank you. I appreciate the Chamber for hosting and Dr. Freeman. This is a great opportunity for everyone to become aware and learn about the candidates here. And so a little bit about myself. I have served on the school board for 3 years, and I'm running for re-election for District 1. I'm a mom of 3 girls. They're all in the Science Magnet program. I have 1 fifth grader at Ed White, twins that are at Seabrook Intermediate who will be going to Clear Falls in the fall. My background, I have a bachelor's in math from Texas A&M. I have 2 masters from U of H Clear Lake in education. I taught high school math and middle school math from 7th grade up to calculus, also taught at Galveston College as an adjunct professor. Worked at NASA in the Office of Education, running some of their student and teacher programs as well. After I have kids, I stepped back and I got my real estate license, but then once my kids got in school, I joined PTA, and so I think it's really important to be part of the community and look forward to you guys learning a little bit about myself.
Thank you very much. Mr. McCall, your comment, please.
My name is Joe McCall, and thank you, Chamber, and thank you, Dr. Friedman. I like Texas A&M. So my background is I'm a current Seabrook City Councilman. This is my 8th year there. I've been the past president of the Houston Football Association, and I was the baseball president for 14 years and built these groups into what they are today. I'm current an NFL official, and I've done that for 23 years. I've officiated football for 45. And I've also been a baseball umpire for 47 years and doing college for 31 of those. And with that background, it helps me make the decisions that you have to make for being on a school board. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bowen, your comment, please.
Hi, I'm Scott Bowen. I've been on the board for 6 years now, running for my 3rd term. I'm a product of CCISD. I'm the oldest of 6 kids, all of whom are also. I'm an Eagle Scout, Texas A&M chemical engineer. And after I got my degree, I came back, which not a lot of my peers did, and built a career here, went on to Rice University to get a master's degree there. And I ran originally to ensure that the children of today get the same opportunities that I did, that they get a world-class education through Clear Creek ISD. And the way we make that happen is by having board members who don't just rubber stamp, don't just go to events, but ask hard questions, bring new ideas to the table, and push for improvement constantly. And that's what I've done for the past 6 years. We hired a great superintendent. We've lowered the tax rate by 31%. We have brought back phonics. We reopened as quickly as we could after COVID, and we closed the $20 million deficit. And so we're going to keep working hard for the next 3 years.
Wow. We got to hear the bell. Ms. Lilly, your comment, please.
Good evening. Thank you all. Thank you to the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. And thank you, Dr. Friedman. I'm Rebecca Lilly, and I'm running for the at-large trustee seat because I care deeply about the future of our district, our community, and our public schools. And I believe we need level-headed, community-centered leadership on our school board. I'm a former CCISD parent. My son Trent will graduate with a master's degree from Texas A&M on May 10th. He will be independent on May 11th. Write it down. I've served on many boards and school organizations, including as past chair of the Clear Lake Area Chamber, and I have spent decades leading organizations in our community. What I hear from parents, teachers, and taxpayers across CCISD is they want leaders who focus on the real work, which is safe schools, strong academics, great teachers, and the smart use of taxpayer dollars. I look forward to seeing you all this evening and talking more.
Thank you very much. And now we'll go to the second round. These are CCISD issues that the candidates will be facing over the next 3 years. They are 1 minute in length. Each candidate will receive the same question. Mr. McCall, we'll be starting with you in this round. What do you see as the most significant challenge that the district will face in the next 3 years, and how should the board address it?
Budget. I think that is going to be the biggest thing in the next 3 years. There's a big deficit right now with the bonds. I think that we have to get that under control, watch the spending, but at the same time, I think teachers would need or like a raise. I think they deserve it, but at the same time, you got to keep the budget down, and I think there's ways to find it in different areas in each department. So that's my view.
Mr. Bowen, your thoughts?
I think our biggest challenge is going to be enrollment. A lot of you might already be aware, but we're projecting, based on the demography of the district, that if we don't do anything differently, we are going to lose about 3,500 students in the next 10 years compared to where we are right now. And the consequences of that are not just budgetary, but also empty schools don't offer the same programs and opportunities that full schools do. And I really don't want to see that happen. So I authored and we have passed an open enrollment policy that I want to see executed faithfully. And we can do that over the next 3 years to bring students into CCISD. I think we're going to see parents have more choices than ever in the coming years. And so we want to make sure that everybody in the area chooses CCISD. And we do that by offering strong programs that parents want and by making sure that our educational program is world class. So that's what we're going to keep doing.
Thank you. Ms. Lilly. your response, please.
Thank you. As we all know, we do have a declining enrollment and we do have budget deficits. So we're going to have to look at those. We're going to have to take an outside approach and we're going to have to think outside the box. We're going to have to look at things that haven't been looked at before to help us. We're going to have to lean into our Community Education Foundation, our community partnerships, and we're just going to have to take a global look at a lot of our issues that are facing us with funding and declining enrollment.
Thank you. Ms. Cheka, your thoughts, please.
I think both of the issues that have been brought up kind of go hand in hand with budget and our declining enrollment. We've worked really hard to keep a balanced budget. We put together a sprint team, which was comprised of district employees as well as community members. And I think it's great to bring in those community members that kind of have an outsider's view. It brings a lot of thinking outside the box, new ideas, and we've been able to implement a lot of those ideas to get some good cost savings. We were also able to pass the bond and the Vader without increasing taxes. And so I think that's really important for the voters to know that the district is trying a lot of new ideas to be able to keep the budget manageable and a balanced budget, and then thus we can put that money into our schools and make sure that we are offering the world-class education.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bowen, this round will be starting with you. The topic is bonds. The CCISD board decided earlier this year to defer a bond vote, although there were maintenance issues identified as important to address across the district. Two parts. When, if ever, should the district take a bond package to the voters? And for you to support a bond, what conditions need to be met?
Yeah, and just to kind of give some background there, I was one of the board members who was more skeptical of bringing a bond to the voters. I actually think it probably wouldn't have passed if we had. I think property taxes are impacting everybody, and they just seem to keep going up. Despite the fact that we're cutting the tax rate, these bonds are the aspect that we have the most control over. And so I think if we're going to bring bonds before the voters, they need to be projects that we all feel strongly that we can defend. And that means they have to be needs, not necessarily wants. We can't, that they have to, I think we have to have programs that are in high demand and justify the use of facilities. We don't need to build facilities for programs that might come along later. And so I would say if we can't meet those conditions, and if it's not something I would vote for myself, I'm never going to ask the voters to vote for it.
Thank you. Ms. Lilly, your thoughts, please.
So the last bond that we went out for, the actual want or ask was 600 and something million, and we had to cut that in half. And so we went out for a little bit over 300 million, and that was prioritized. And last week in the Community Finance Advisory Committee, which I've been on for a few years, I was listening to the maintenance people talk about the issues in our schools right now. The HVAC is a huge issue in some of these old schools, and the safety of our students is priority. So if we are going to go out for another bond, we really need that other 300 million just for those priorities 1 and 2, not even priorities 3. And we had to cut a lot of the priority 1 needs in that first bond that was a few years ago. So in order to go out for another bond, we need to think about our children's safety in those schools every day.
Thank you very much. Ms. Cheka, same question, please.
I think there's a lot of outside factors that go into this. I know no one wants their taxes to go up with a bond, and we were able to successfully pass the last bond without doing that. As part of that process, like Ms. Lilly did mention, we had a list of needs that our district has, and there are several schools still that are in dire need of repair. They're aging facilities. These schools were built in the 60s. And if you think about your house at home, if your house was built in the 60s, at some point you have to do those remodels. Otherwise, it's going to be more expensive in the long run to keep maintaining those. So for example, Seabrook Intermediate, the school is built in 66, is on the list of one of those schools that we were considering. I think for us to go out for another bond, we really have to evaluate and fine tune what those needs are, prioritize them, which is what we did with the last bond package, and decide when it's fiscally responsible for us to take to the voters to be able to get it passed.
Thank you. Mr. McCall, your thoughts, please.
My dad went to a high school in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, and Jesse Owens went to that same school. It's still being used today. So they found a way to do it. I think we could too. So thinking outside the box to do it the right way. Yeah, they don't have an AC system like we need in Ohio compared to Texas, but at the same time, the people are getting taxed and taxed and taxed, and the people are basically saying no. We just came through COVID and a big downturn in the economy. People aren't willing to spend the money. And you have to look at your own home. Or would you just keep spending money over and over and over again? The answer is no, because if you don't have the money, you can't do it. And basically, you're asking the people to spend their money. Now, if it's a dire need and we have to have it, of course we'd be able to spend that and get a bond for that. But it would be obviously the people voting for that. So,
Thank you very much. Now we're going to move on to the first lightning round. Ms. Lilly, you'll be the person who is starting this round. Appreciate if you could pick a number between 1 and 20, please.
1.
Question number 1. What are the key demographic trends facing CCISD, and what are the implications of those trends for the district? 30 seconds.
Thank you. So the key demographic trend right now is the declining enrollment. And when you look at the birth rate and you look at the kindergarten admission rate, those are declining and they're expected to continue to decline. And as those decline and you have less kindergartners coming in and more people graduating, then you've got to look at everything in your district. You've got to look at your programs, your classrooms, and how you're going to work with that.
Thank you. Ms. Checa, the next number is yours.
18.
Number 18. 14 parents notify you that they object to a book in their child's school library. They demand that you have it removed immediately. What would you say and do?
So as a district, we have a policy for this. There is forms that you can fill out if you find your student or a teacher or a parent finds a book in a library that they disagree with. They can go and they can submit that request and it will be reviewed by a committee. I think there are definitely a wide variety of students and needs in our libraries, and so we try to keep a variety of books, but also we definitely have a policy so that if you feel uncomfortable, there are ways to go about reporting that, and then it goes to the district for that.
Thank you very much. Mr. McCall, your number, please.
number 4.
Number 4. What is the difference between a charter school and a private school?
Charter schools have, a private school, a parent can take them and spend their own personal money at a private school, and a charter school has the help from the taxpayers. So that's the difference.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bowen, your number, please.
Class of 2012. Right.
Which one, 20 or 12?
12. Yeah.
Okay. A little slow over here.
Yeah.
In your opinion, are CCIS schools safe and secure? If so, what's the key to keeping them safe? If not, what needs to be done?
Yes, is my opinion. I'm on the security committee, and so we get reports every few months about exactly what is being done to keep schools safe. I think the key is the details. We are audited to make sure that every door is locked, that procedures are being followed, that when reports go in of concerning situations, they get answered. I think it's the small things that make sure that we're keeping kids safe.
Thank you very much. Ms. Lilly, second round. What is your number, please?
Number 2.
Number 2. What are unfunded mandates and how do they affect CCISD?
So the unfunded mandates are things that our Texas legislature will say. A good example of this was seatbelts a few years ago. They wanted us to put seatbelts in all of our school buses. This year they're looking at seatbelts that are 3-prong seatbelts instead of the 2, and those are, they expect you to do it, and it's a mandate from the state, but yet we don't have the funding to do it.
Thank you. Ms. Checa, your number, please.
16.
Number 16. The Texas legislature now allows school districts to arm school staff through various programs. Do you support having armed school staff? If so, which ones and why? If not, why not?
I do not support arming our school staff. Our teachers have enough stress as it is. Their focus is the kids, and that is where we need to keep their focus at. The same for our principals and counselors. That's not an added stress that we want to add to them. Like Mr. Bowen mentioned, our schools we do feel are very safe. We have security liaison officers that are on site, and I don't think that that's something that we need in our schools at this time.
Thank you very much. Mr. McCall, your number, please.
Number 7.
Number 7. A parent harshly criticizes you personally on social media. In your opinion, what's the appropriate response?
Silence. So, as a sports official, this is actually a perfect question for me. I get this all the time. Actually, they personally come up right in my face. So, it goes in one ear and out the other. Now, I actually know how to handle it. I've been trained to do it. So, but on social media, there's no really response. If we can talk to them privately, we might be able to get a solution to their issue.
Thank you. Ms. Bowen?
I'll go with number 15.
Number 15. House Bill 955 in this year's legislative session, if passed, would require school board races to be partisan and to abide by the same election standards as we have for state house or Senate races. Do you favor making school board races partisan? Why or why not?
That's really interesting. I'd never thought about that. What I know I definitely favor is having the elections on a more regular cycle. Right now, we have these May elections, and they're the only things on the ballot. We have low turnout. I do think I would like it better if we had them on the regular November cycle with all the other elections. We would have a lot more voters. We would have, I think, a lot more opportunity to get out in the community. So,
thank you. And this is the third round. Ms. Lilly, your number, please.
Number 3.
Number 3. Seems to be a pattern to your selections.
Making it easy.
Do you favor vouchers or education savings accounts? Why or why not?
No, I do not favor anything that takes 1 penny out of our public education classroom.
Please. Please. Did you want to add?
Well, we already are struggling and have a balancing act every year in our classrooms and in our district and all the districts across the state, and we're having to every year do more with less, and so I don't want to take anything out of our classroom.
Thank you. Ms. Sheka, your number, please.
Let's go with 18.
I'm sorry, 18?
Oh, 18's red. I'm sorry. 14.
14? Yes or no? You would publicly support a board decision you personally did not vote in favor of. Explain your response.
Yes. I think once the board speaks and votes that you have to move forward as a board. There are always going to be issues that you don't agree with, other people on the board, but that's why you're open communication. But I think once the board votes, you have to move together and move forward as a board. So I think it's important that everyone gets on board and supports whatever the board decision was.
Thank you. Mr. McCall, your number, please.
I'll go with 15.
15?
Oh, that's red. Okay, 17.
17. Imagine that the school board lowered my property tax rate, yet my property tax bill is higher than last year. What happened?
So this happens in the city of Seabrook as well. People call us up and say, why did my taxes go up? Well, it's the rate. When you're taxed at the rate, the taxes, even though you've lowered the taxes, it comes out sometimes higher, and that's how it comes out on your bill. So it's hard to explain in 30 seconds. So.
Thank you. Ms. Bowen, last one in this round.
All right, I'll go number 8.
Number 8. Agree or disagree, and why? Homeschooled or private school students should be allowed to participate in CCISD's extracurricular programs like athletics or marching band if they live in the district.
I agree. I think we would have to do some work to make that workable, but but the law already allows it, and they are paying taxes to the district. I think what we're going to see over the coming years is there are going to be more and more students who do some kind of hybrid model. I mean, that's as more choices open up, that's going to become more possible. So I think if they're paying taxes to the district, their kids should be able to participate in our programs.
Thank you, and that completes that round. We're on to point counterpoint. These will be 60-second responses with a 30-second counter response or rebuttal. There'll be 10 categories. You can see them here. We'll only use each category one time. We'll be starting with Ms. Cheka on that. And if you would, please, pick a category, and you'll have 60 seconds to address the question.
Teacher recruitment and retention.
How should CCISD recruit and retain the best teachers in addition to providing pay increases?
We are striving to keep our good teachers in our district. I think one of the important things that has passed that I'm really proud that our board has done is adding the IP days on the calendar. You know, like kind of has been brought up before, there are budget issues, and it is hard to give the teachers the raise that we know they deserve. We do try to give them some raise every year, but we have implemented where we give them additional days for planning and instruction. And so, for example, the day after spring break, the students didn't go back on that Monday, and the teachers were able to enjoy their spring break. And then on that Monday, we could plan for the next week or month leading up to the end of school. And so I think being able to offer them incentives like that, that is not always necessarily budgetary, but it shows that we value their time, which is a big thing. You know, if you can't give them money, hopefully we can give them time. And so I think that's important to be able to offer our teachers to try to retain and recruit them to our district.
Thank you. Mr. McCall, your response to Ms. Cheka, please.
Okay, I believe that we need to pay the teachers more money. One of the things that I've talked to a lot of the teachers about is these meetings they have to go to that don't help the students at all. They're just told to go to these meetings. They find them unproductive. It takes away their time from the classroom. So that's the issues that I'm hearing.
Thank you. Now, Mr. McCall, it's your turn to pick a category.
Superintendent evaluation.
What are the three most important criteria a school superintendent should be evaluated on, and why?
Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Actually, how well the students are doing. You know, is she implementing the policies to get these students? Now, I know we graduate really well. We're ranked 27th out of the state out of 900 districts. That's actually really good. But if we're saying that we're going to offer a world-class education, then we need to be in the top 10. Katie's number 7. Katie's a really big district. We're big. I think we could get there. So I think how well our students doing, how well we're graduating them, and continuing that.
Thank you. Ms. Sheck, a 30-second response, please.
We have superintendent criteria that we look at each year when we do our evaluation of the superintendent. Student performance is definitely one of them. I think that's important to see where our kids are. Also looking at our college and career readiness numbers. That's what that means is where the students are when they graduate. Are they ready to enter the workforce? Are they ready to go to college? Those statistics are important, but I also think measuring community involvement and anyone.
Thank you. Mr. Bowen, which category would you like to select, please?
I'll go with strategic planning.
Okay. In Clear Creek ISD's Vision 2030, one goal is for our intermediate schools to be nationally recognized as centers of innovation, creation, and collaboration. With just 4 fiscal years left before fiscal year 30, how are we doing and what else needs to be done?
Thanks. Well, this is something I specifically pushed for in our strategic planning process because I think our intermediate schools kind of have gotten left out in the past. And the key is that we need to make sure that transition from 5th grade to 6th grade is as smooth as possible. That's why we took the WAVE Basics course and expanded that out to everybody so that incoming sixth graders would be prepared for the additional workload, for getting real grades, and for things mattering in a way that they didn't before. We're also creating a science and technology center at Space Center Intermediate to specifically improve it. And we want to create programs like that at the other intermediate schools too, so that every intermediate school, not just the magnet schools, has something that they can be proud of and passionate about. And so continuing to do that over the next 4 years is going to be critical, and it's something that I've really been an advocate of.
Thank you very much. Ms. Lilly, your response to Mr. Bowen, please.
So in Vision 2030, there is a whole section that addresses our intermediate schools, as you said. And, another thing that is happening with our intermediate schools is now we have the Leader in Me program that has been mandated to all of our elementary schools. And there's going to be a program for our sixth graders to kind of transition that as well. So that might be helpful as well for our next 4 years.
Thank you. And now we'll come back around for the second round. Ms. Cheka, Oh, I'm sorry, Rebecca. I apologize. Thank you. Apologize. Which one, Ms. Lilly?
Community engagement.
I'm sorry?
Community engagement.
Define community engagement for a school board member. And given that definition, how do you accomplish that?
So community engagement is many things. It's being the face of the school district for one thing, and always being on, if you will, and always being ready to listen to whatever a parent, a student, anyone tells you, and being involved in your community, whether it's being involved with the local PTAs, with the Chamber of Commerce, with our Education Foundation Board, but absolutely being the face of our district and the face of our school board and being engaged on many levels.
Thank you. Mr. Bowen, your thoughts on that topic?
Sure. Yeah, I think the most important thing is listening to parents and always being a resource for them. We get invited to a lot of fancy dinners and football games and things like that, and those are all well and good. But the most important thing is to be an advocate for parents who need it, to either help solve their problems or at least point them in the right direction if you can't do it yourself. And so that's something I've always prided myself on doing, and I believe I've helped a lot of parents who have had issues with the district that they needed to get resolved.
Thank you very much. Now, I think I'm back on track. I apologize. Ms. Cheka, which one?
Let's do curriculum and instruction.
TEA has its Bluebonnet learning instructional materials that districts can adopt. Why is it controversial, and should CCISD adopt them? Why or why not?
So Bluebonnet learning materials, it kind of pulls in religion. And so I think at this point, we have curriculum, a committee that looks at our curriculum every year that's up for adoption, and they choose the curriculum and then present it to the board for approval. We are really strong in curriculum right now where we're at, the curriculum that we're using. At this time, I would not vote to adopt that curriculum in our district.
Thank you. Mr. McCall, your thoughts on the Bluebonnet learning?
We started with a prayer tonight. So I think you can have prayer in the school. Maybe that's part of why we have to have security officers actually in the schools to prevent shootings. Maybe if we had a little bit more prayer in the schools, this wouldn't happen as often.
Thank you. And now, Mr. McCall, it's your selection.
Facilities.
I'm sorry, say it.
Facilities.
Oh, facilities. When should CCISD bring its next bond forward to voters? What needs to be included?
As long as we can hold out. Again, this is where you're taxing the people. And right now the people are saying no to a lot of different things because, again, we've gone through a recession. People's income's not come back yet. And I actually look out for the people. I've talked to a lot of people, and it's always spend, spend, spend. Now, however, when you do need a school or you need an HVAC system on a school, of course you have to take care of that. And the people understand that part. But I think we can hold off the bonds. I think that would be the best thing for now.
Thank you. Ms. Cheka, your response, please.
So our last bond we did pass, and like I said, we kind of pulled together a team, looked at what the immediate needs are, and I think that that's what we're going to have to do again. We still have 5 aging schools that will need some remodels at some point, and so that will, because of the way the state is provides our funding, it will have to go through a bond. But we have to be fiscally responsible and look at when the best time is to present that to the voters to hopefully not have to raise taxes.
Thank you. Mr. Bowen, your selection, please.
I'll go with policy.
The board is responsible for approving policy for the district. Name a policy you think should be addressed now, and specifically what improvement do you suggest?
If you'd asked me this 6 months ago, I would have said open enrollment, but we just did that. So I think a policy that we might need to revisit soon is cell phones in classrooms. I don't know whether we would go with a full ban or just more of a restriction, but I think that is becoming a dire issue. Just the distraction that creates, the impact of social media on children, especially, is harming education, harming children, and if even if the legislature doesn't force our hand, which they might, I think that's still something that we're going to have to take action on fairly soon.
Thank you, Ms. Lilly. Your response.
So, yes, there's some legislation being put forth right now about the cell phones, and that certainly is an issue in our schools. And, you know, there has to be a balance because these children grew up with these in their hands. And my son substitute taught last year, and he said that when the first graders came in, they were like little ants running around everywhere. But the minute that they could go to their cubby and get their laptop, that everything was calm, you know, silent night. So there has to be a balance in that.
Thank you. And now, Ms. Lilly, your selection, please.
Advocacy.
If you were discussing public education with one of our state representatives or senators, what would you be advocating for and why?
Absolutely an increase in our allotment. Our allotment has not increased and kept up with inflation, and it has not increased since 2019. So I would absolutely advocate for increasing the allotment per student.
Thank you. And just as a matter of record, I'm sorry, Mr. Bowen?
Yes. So I do have these conversations with our state representatives and senators all the time. And the thing about school funding is CCISD is underfunded compared to the average state school. We get about $2,700 per student less than the average district in Texas. So what I always advocate for is to fix that. Make us more even, whatever you do with statewide funding, make us more even with the rest of the state. We do so much more with so much less, and we can do so much more.
Thank you very much. The 2 categories that were not addressed were budget and election finance. Now it's time for another lightning round. Mr. McCall, it'll be your turn to get started. If you would, a number, please.
4.
Number 4. A parent asks you, what does a school board do? What do you say?
Get yelled at by the parents? No. So the reason I say that is I've actually heard about that a little bit. So anyway, the school board actually makes the policies that set forth to run the school and to listen to what the parents want and how they want their school to move forward. Obviously, do we want religion? If we don't want religion, do we want to save money? Do we not want to save money? Do we want to buy different? Well, that was short.
Mr. Bowen, your number, please.
All right, I'll go with 12 again.
12. Imagine that one of your board colleagues suggests that to save money, CCISD should eliminate either the fine arts or the Leader in Me program. What's your response and why?
I would say no. I think both of those are great programs, and I've been to many performances, seen our talented students perform. I've been to Leader in Me, seen the impact that has on our younger kids also. We need to have a program review process where we identify programs that are either under enrolled or not having the results that we would hope for, and use that to drive our decisions in a methodical way, not just pick on things that we see.
Thank you. Ms. Lilly, your number, please.
Number 1.
Yes or no? Public school districts should be run like a business. Explain.
Absolutely. There's a lot of factors that come into a public school, obviously, that are a little bit different, but there's so many similarities. Through my experience over the last 35 years with healthcare, and the last few weeks really delving into public school districts, I've really realized the similarities between the two. And we have to run it like a business, even though, we're talking about our children, et cetera, but we've got to be fiscally responsible.
Thank you very much. Ms. Cheka, number please.
18.
Number 18. An elected school board is responsible for district governance. The superintendent and her staff are responsible for district management. Why is this an important distinction?
So the school board makes the policy, which is the governance. Once that policy is made, it's the job of the superintendent and her staff, her cabinet, and teachers to make sure that they're running the district in the management. You don't want to get on the weeds. It's more of a high level, creating those policies, and then it's up to them to determine that. And then that's why we have our superintendent evaluation, is to make sure that our superintendent and her staff are doing the management part of the governance.
Thank you. Mr. McCall, number please.
7.
Number 7. What programmatic improvements would you recommend for the gifted and talented students of the district?
The fewest amount of students per teacher, so they can have the guidance from the teacher. Eads district is the #1 district in Texas. They have 16 students to every teacher. If we could get something close to that, I think that would actually help.
Thank you. Mr. Bowen, a number please.
I'll go 15.
Some say school boards represent students. Some say boards represent the district. Some say it's the taxpayers, and still others say they represent the people who voted for them. Of these choices, whom do you represent most and why?
I would say of those choices, the taxpayers. The taxpayers pay for everything in the district. They pay the salaries, they pay for the buildings, and that is also everybody. And so I think while we are serving, the reason the school district exists is to serve students, ultimately we are representing the taxpayers in the way the district is managed and making sure our outcomes earn the money that they're spending.
Thank you. Ms. Lilly, your number, please.
Number 2.
Number 2. What are the 2 most important attributes for a school board member to possess? And why do you say that?
So number 1 is obviously listening. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, and we need to listen. And we don't, in this Stephen Covey's 7 Habits, it's listen to be understood, or listen first before you speak. So listening is number 1. And then, of course, integrity. I mean, we have to trust the people that we have voted for, and so they need to have integrity.
Thank you very much. Ms. Cheka, your number, please.
10.
Number 10. Should teacher salary increases be merit-based, inflation-based, across the board, only when available, or something else, and why?
I think the teacher salary should be across the board. I think whenever we do pay raises, we look at all of our staff. We kind of say teacher is a general term, but what that means is all of the staff that's working in our district. You don't want to go to merit-based, because then that's not fair for the teachers who maybe have all the AP classes and the other teachers that maybe have the regular Algebra 1 class as a freshman. So keeping it across the board, I think, keeps it fair. It also keeps the teachers.
It's the 3rd round. Mr. McCall, your number, please.
16.
Number 16. Over the past few years, the issue of teachers' mental and emotional wellness has become a topic for school boards. What should be done to support teachers' wellness?
Okay, so 1, pay. They don't have to worry about how to pay their bills. That's 1. And then the next is, again, I've talked to a lot of teachers, and it's those meetings. They really are tired of these meetings that they're getting nothing from. So I think that would be 2. That's the 2 issues.
Thank you. Mr. Bowen, number, please.
I'll go with number 8.
Number 8. What programmatic improvements would you recommend for the special education students?
So programmatically, I think we have programs that meet the needs of our special needs population. The biggest improvement is just having more people. We actually had a finance committee meeting this morning where we talked about the significant increase in the number of people that we're going to be hiring to manage special education. So making sure that we have solid professionals and that we have enough people to run all of the programs that we have is the biggest thing.
Thank you, Ms. Lilly. Your number, please.
Number 3.
I should have just asked the folks who are here to guess which number you would have chosen. Traditionally, school district races have been local and nonpartisan. Recently, we've seen increasing partisanship and donations coming from out of district and out of state. How does this trend affect public education, and do you favor receiving these types of donations?
That question does not match what's on my screen.
That was not number 3?
It
Well,
just
it's
doesn't.
worded different
The
than what
wording
you
is
said.
different than what's on the screen.
Traditionally, school district races have been local with donations mostly coming from district residents. Recently, we've seen donations coming from out of district and out of state. Are you receiving and reporting out of district and out of state donations? And how does this trend affect public education?
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
So I am reporting every donation that I have received, and my donations are 95% in our district. I've had a couple that are out of the district, so I'm reporting everything that I've received. And I believe in local and community and grassroots, and the people that I work with, that I talk to, that I'm, in different clubs with, so I believe in grassroots and community.
This question has come up so often that I'm going to ask all of you the same question about district. Could you put that question back up? No, I know. I'm going to come back to her. Yeah. But I'm going to take the liberty just to ask all of you, are you receiving and reporting out of district and out of state donations? Jessica?
Are we having 30 seconds?
No, just a yes or no.
Oh, no.
Mr.
No.
Nicole?
Oh, sorry.
Are you receiving and reporting out of district, out of state donations?
I'm not receiving any, so I'm not reporting them.
Thank you. Mr. McCall?
I'm not receiving and I'm not reporting.
Thank you. Mr. Bowen?
Okay, I have received a couple of donations from outside the district and not out of the state, but I've reported every donation I've gotten.
All right, just to clear all of that up. Thank you very much. And now, Ms. Cheka, your last number, please.
14.
Number 14. In your opinion, how much should a district like CCISD have in its reserves or in a fund balance? And when should those funds be used?
So we carry our fund balance and our reserves. We try, you always want 6 months of operating costs. You want to be able to pay your teachers. You want to be able to keep the lights on in the buildings. We would only use those funds in the case of an emergency. I wasn't on the board when when Hurricane Ike came through, but a situation similar to that, where you have an immediate emergency where you have to pay money before your insurance claims go out.
Thank you very much. And now it's time for our closing comments. We'll go in the reverse order that we started with. Ms. Lilly, that would have you leading off, please, for your final closing comment.
Thank you so much, Dr. Friedman. And again, thank you to the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce and TJ Alds and Dr. Winchell. Thank you. So hopefully after hearing my remarks, you can tell I'm running because I care deeply about our children and our community. And I believe CCISD needs level-headed local leadership focused on real results. If elected, I'll stay laser focused on 3 key things: keeping CCISD a destination district, protecting public school funding, and spending wisely. So thank you all for being here tonight, and I appreciate the opportunity to tell you more about myself and why I should be elected.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bowen, your final comment, please.
Yeah, I'd also like to thank the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce for hosting this debate, to Dr. Friedman for doing a great job of moderating. I'm running for re-election because we have achieved a lot over the past 6 years. I've been a part of many of the major changes that we've had, and I have the experience to keep bringing new ideas to the table and not just settling for what we're doing, but constantly pushing the district to improve so that we are not just world class now, but we stay that way in the face of increased competition and the budgetary challenges we face. So I feel like I'm the one to keep in there to keep improving what our district does, and that's what I'm going to do. So I hope you vote for me, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. McCall, your final comment, please.
Thank you to the chamber. Thank you, Dr. Friedman. As I'm one of 8 that went through this district, I went to Bay Elementary, Seabrook Intermediate, and Clear Lake High School. And I have 7 other brothers and sisters that went through this district as well. One of the things I'd like to see is the Systems Go aerospace science. You know, we're right across from NASA. Also using guys like Axiom founder Mike Suffredini. He and I actually talked about trying to do more programs to bring the space into the schools and using those leaders. So please vote for me. I think I would be a good change and a conservative voice on the school board.
Thank you. Ms. Cheka, your final closing comment, please.
I just want to echo Systems Go. That is, if you don't know, look that up on the website. It is an amazing student program. I've actually worked with that program for 12 years, and we have been trying to get it in CCISD, and hopefully we are close. But I'm running for re-election because I'm passionate about education. I wanted to be a teacher when I was in the 4th grade, and I knew that my goal in life was to make a difference in education. I feel whether it was in the classroom or as a PTA volunteer or a school board member, I am trying to make sure that all of our students are getting a world-class education and we have the opportunities that they deserve. As a former educator, I have experience knowing what the challenges teachers face, and I want to use that experience to be an advocate for them. As an engaged parent, I know how important it is to have PTA involvement. As a realtor, I can advocate for our community and make sure all of our taxpayers are heard and understand the importance of the quality between our schools and our property values. And so as a trustee, I will continue to make decisions based on what's best for our CCISD students.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's thank all of our candidates. Dr. Winchell will provide the final comments.
This does conclude the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce CCISD Board of Trustees Candidates Forum. You are welcome to stay, and we encourage you to stay to get to know the candidates after the forum is over. We'll be here till 7:30. They also have campaign materials available for you. Thank you for being an informed voter. The clerk, till 7? Oh, till 7? Okay, sorry. Okay, that's changed, 7. Thank you for being an informed voter. The Clear Creek Independent School District's Board of Trustee will hold regular elections for the following trustee positions on Saturday, May 3rd, 2025. Early voting will be from April 22nd to the 29th, with the polls closed on Sunday. Please go to www.harrisvotes.com or www.galvestonvotes.org for voting locations. Here are the dates. Early voting, April 22 through April 29, Harris County, April 22 through 25, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., April 28 and 29, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Galveston County, April 22 through 26, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., April 27th, 12 noon to 7 p.m., April 28th and 29th, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On the ballot are, from your left to right, District 1, Jessica Cheka, the incumbent, Joe McCole. At-large position B, Scott Bowen, who is the incumbent, and Rebecca Lilly. Thank you all for running for office. We appreciate your commitment to public service and to public education. Once again, our thanks to each of our candidates for participating, our sponsors, the City of Nassau Bay and I-45 Now, our host, the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce, our moderator, Dr. Glenn Friedman, and most importantly, thank you all for attending, for viewing, and for caring about the future of Clear Creek AISD and our community. Have a good evening, and one more round of applause for our candidates.